bit delayed. So, yeah. Hi! Welcome everyone to
I'm so happy.
Jessica Ackerman. This is our first episode of our Embodied Divinity, the YouTube TV show from Love It Yoga, where the intention is to normalize spiritual awakenings, to share other masters' journey, and to make these things that we experience, these sometimes really scary points, sometimes really anxiety inducing, sometimes really alienating feelings, to let you know that it's normal, it's okay, and it's weird, and it's human, and it's divine. It's all of these things. So I'm extremely honored to have one of my dearest friends, Jessica Ackerman, on today. She's a peaceful spiritual warrior. She has guided me through so many of my valleys in my spiritual awakening journey, and having only known her for really a short while and having her have touched my heart in such a deep way, it's just my immense honor to be able to share this time and space with you, and to be able to just talk with you about your journey, because it's what has it has brought you to this place where you are able to share so beautifully the gifts that your awakening has brought you. So Jessica had a former life of being a hair salon owner, having an MBA in hairdressing. She was like full on in the matrix and really rocking it. But something drew her to this life of spirituality, and she now shares the gifts of Reiki, Akashic Records. She's living her own divine soul blueprint, and I'll stop talking and let her say a little bit about her journey, because that's what this is all about.
I'm so grateful to be here with you, and yeah, I think I have to correct a bit. Like, so what was happening when we both saw each other? I think we both knew in the first second that there's something that we can learn from each other. And what one of my best teachers, and that's you, what a coincidence, shows me is like that we have everything in us. So in every times when I was not remembering that everything is already there, you were there and you were telling me. And probably it's one of the best lessons that I ever get from someone, because sometimes in this whole spiritual world, we are searching and seeking around outside for so many tools, but actually we have already everything in us. And I remember the day when we sit in the sauna and you told me this, and it was really life-changing for me. But probably till now, I even not understand it fully with all my sentence. And now another friend shows up in my life, and she did the Kundalini training with me, and she told me the same. And it reminds me so much on you. She said, like, just, you know, right, that there's nobody outside what we have to bow down. Just do it for your own soul and do it for yourself. And yeah, this is probably the biggest lesson that you gave me. So whatever I showed you, it was just a mirror of you, and it was just a quick reminder at the things that you probably for 1 second forgot.
That's what I love about you, is that everything is you are so humble, and everything that I ever expressed to you, you mirror back at me, that it came from me.
I remember, yeah. Of course.
And so what everyone may be dying to know, I know that I am, is if you had a first experience of your higher self or your spiritual awakening or awareness of something being beyond just this life of living and working and producing.
I think it was, yeah, of course. So I think I knew my whole life already that there's a higher energy or a universe or something what is guiding us through things. And it was, even if I was really young, it was happen that I was sitting there and I knew truly and really sure that the things what was outside in my reality wasn't like this. So I would call it a human lie detector. So I knew all the time if the things were not like the people told me how they are. So it was a hard and rough journey for me, even with my first boyfriend or with more boyfriends. I every time knew when there was something going on, and it's quite hard in this time if you're not aware that it's your guidance and it's your inner goddess who is telling you what is happening, and everybody outside is saying like, this is shit, or how do you know this, or why do you think this? So I think a long time I didn't realize that it's actually something higher. And also, yeah, so we had something happen in our family where we are, yeah, we had to face death. So also on this day when there was a car accident and I was really nervous, I was driving around and I even don't know why I was driving around. So it was super weird. And then I were guided to a place, especially super close, where the message is telling them. So it was horrible, of course, but in another point, I realized like, wow, I were really guided to be here and to be present and to, yeah, maybe serve in a kind of way. So there were a lot of things happening. And yeah, I also had all the time the call in myself that I am wrong. So of course I'm not wrong, I'm right. But, and I think it, and you know me, since last year when we met in Cambodia, I was on this journey to finding out who I am. I think I had a big identity searching, seeking, and to find out who am I. So, and I think this whole thing, when this comes up in us, that we are realizing there's more, there's something else, it is super, it makes us noisy and curious to find out what it is. And I say all the time, if the call is there, we cannot ignore. So I highly believe that everybody has this call. So I really think that the people, they should be on this path, they have these calls. But I think in the matrix it's super hard to hear it, to listen, and then to follow, because I think a lot of people have these calls, they have these moments when they realize there's more than this 24/7 working, just hard running for money, and may have a bigger car. And I think they all know there could be a higher purpose, but I think it needs a really, what I realized on my travel is now here, sometimes I love about, or also with you, it starts that people saying like, so what was happening that you left? So now the people going straight to the point, the travelers, because they know there were some crash going on in our life, there were a big change, or something really bad is happening, which make us leave. So, and I can say from my experience, I am happy that the bad things are happening in my old life. I'm now super happy. I would not sit in beautiful Bali and try to build a life what I think it's the best life, and working daily on the better version of myself. So I think we really need this punch. I would call it punch in which ways ever. So for some people it's a destiny. For other people's a split up with a boyfriend, or someone treat us really bad, or we lose our jobs, or there's every time something happen that we are, for me, to be honest, I felt so bad in this life. I was so deep depressed that I had no other way than to leave. So for me, really, I couldn't stay anymore in this life. I couldn't serve, this what everybody wanted from me to be. So it was enough suffering what makes me leave. So now I'm super happy about this. I think in the beginning we are grounding in this victim position, that we are saying, so, oh my God, all these bad things are just happened to us, but it's not. It's actually not. And if we are brave enough to step out of this, we are step by step meeting people like we met. They are showing you like you are exactly on the right path. This is exactly where you should go. And then, yeah, you just follow you start to listen and follow your intuition.
Who did help you to this?
Or it starts for me.
Right. Who did help you, or what helped you to know that you needed to leave, that that's the path that you needed to take? Like, what kind of supports did you have?
It was a long time already that I felt Asia. I really felt I wanted to see Asia. Before, I was just a normal 5-star resort traveler. I never saw a country. If I look back now, I think like, what the heck have I done? So what have I missed? But it was not time before. So I wanted to be in Thailand a lot of time. It never happens. I had a lot of work. I booked this first travel with my really long relationship. And yeah, there were a lot of things happen, what makes us splitting up. So, and then another guy shows up. I really found something in him, and it also was not happening. So I was suffering. I was heartbroken a lot. So I decided to go on my own, and yeah, this is what I did. So I had my first experience in Asia, and to be honest, when I had my first food out of this plane, I knew Asia is something super special. I don't want to go home. It was hard. I think a couple of my good friends, I remember the moment when I came back first time from Bali. I was crying. Even in the car, they picked me up from the plane and they were happy to see me, and I was just crying. I don't want to step out of the car. I don't want to go back to my apartment. And in this moment, I knew I will change my life. So everything what is happening after this moment in 2019, I was sure to make possible to leave, even if I had no clue how to make it possible. But yeah, this is what I did. So I just let go of a lot of things what I thought I need, and I choose another life. Last year I met you. I luckily stuck in Cambodia 9 months. Beautiful experience, so much growth. Yeah, I hide back one more time. I sold everything, and yeah, now I'm here with a one-way ticket. So I'm in Bali. I sometimes even also cannot believe that I did all these steps. And I think what is quite important to tell everybody is like, also here are bad days. So I think all the time, if everybody sees our stories and stuff, of course we are living the dream life. I do. I am highly appreciating this and I'm so grateful, but there's also, I think we're working more hard on ourselves that everybody sees, because nobody sees this in these pictures. And it's a daily growth. It's a daily commitment to ourselves. And I think all the light workers like us have to clean up their shit first. And I think exactly this is the moment, the point where you see who is, for me, working on the right part, because there are a lot of spiritual work, and this is absolutely without judgment. But what I can say, I cannot work with everybody. And for me, it's quite important that we are not in a knowledge age, we are in an experience age. And it's so important that we experience first, that we are cleaning our shit up, that we are looking for everything what we are looking in the outside, inside ourselves, before we can give it to someone. Of course, they have to be balanced. You know me, I all the time think I need more before I can share. This is another side. I'm the opposite. I all the time think I'm not ready and I have to do more by myself before I share. This is also not good. But I think it's quite important that, yeah, all the people outside here, which they are watching it, listen to their hearts. And if they see some offers, just feel if it's for you. So this is what I do. And I just work with people which I feel it's on exactly this path. And yeah, if we listen to our guidance, then I'm sure the right people shows up in the right moment.
Yeah. I want to mention just your energies. So Jessica's a Vata, very high Vata energy in the Ayurvedic doshas. And so this is air ether, right? So this is what you were just referring to in terms of, you know, you want to get all the information, you have this desire to know everything, right? Before you make a move, you want to know, like, okay, what's the best for me? You know, you're very intellectual. Air and ether are very also adaptable. So you have this ability to not only see something that you want to change, but also you're very willing to change, because air and ether are very movable substances, right? You flow very well with life.
But it's also hard. It's also hard.
Yeah.
So this is the funny thing. You know, I need grounding. Too much movements makes me really crazy. So it's in one part, I really feel it strong when I have to move. And it took me a year more, I think, when I decided it in Germany to really leave. Or some now I'm already again in this position. I'm sitting in a small town. It's my bubble. It's really a bubble because there's nothing. I feel that probably in Ubud I could learn a lot, but I still feel good here. So, but something in me say also so, but there's something else. So I think it's all the time the game from attachment and detachment to realize, like, okay, do we really need this anymore? Or we are ready with this, just to get more intuitive what we
and
are.
How do you do that? Like, what's your process for
others?
What's your process?
Actually, most of the time it shows up. So
yeah.
Describe so most of the time something blows up. It just come. Yeah, it's just an intuition in the first second, and then the brain starts. So first it's our inside, which is clear, and then the brain starts, oh no, but I don't want this, or maybe this, or maybe this. So this is a whole process to all the time come back to ourselves with tools. So if it's yoga, if it's meditation, being in nature, disconnecting from social media, it's for me a really big part because it really distracts me and my energy a lot. I'm Vata, high Vata, so there are a lot of energies already. If I have too much energy outside, I feel really freaking out. So I need to disconnect myself from everything and really listen to myself. And then I think everybody knows, if we really disconnect from everything and face our feelings to things, then we know. But if we are too much in our head and overthink what we should do, that's an overthinking. It's not a feeling. I think really to feel what we are needing is to get out of our head. With which tools ever. For everybody else, works different tools. So some people go for sport, other people go for run, other people go diving. I do Kundalini. For me, Kundalini, for now, I know already that I'm sometimes attached to things. For now I am, yes, and it works for me, yes. So I really love it. I experience it now to find out what I can share from this, what I like, what I don't like. It's fine. For me now, it's Kundalini. Kundalini is the tool which, in first time in my life, to make my mind stop. And in another part, to clean up the shit from our subconscious, in our nervous system. We create new path in our brains, which is incredible. So I already, after 40 days, daily Kundalini, feel a big change in my life. So for now, it's Kundalini, but it's also other yoga things, meditation, being in nature. And I think a really big tool, what everybody should took a bit, it's disconnecting from all the medias and what everybody else is doing. This is just an illusion. And then we think again that we're needing something else and more, but this is a trick. this is of course a trick, because there's everything here in the moment, what we need, what we do need.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for saying all of this, Jessie. It's really helpful. And also, I've always known you as a person who is able to read energy. From the first time I met you, you were able to not only read people's energy in terms of, you know, if there is like a match or you know, a resonance that you feel good around, but
I
also
feel
you are
this
able to
so
feel
clear.
You're able to also feel people's chakras, and if they are like, which ones are open or closed, or if there is work. Does that still ring true for you?
I would say, yeah, this is more an intuitive thing. I knew this. Yeah, I knew this already before I did workshops for this. So to be honest, when I started with spiritual work and I wanted to see anything, or I wanted to know, I want this, nothing was happening. So, and one of my favorite teachers, I remember, will forever remember, and maybe it helps people to stop to search for this, because I said in a workshop, we had a beautiful meditation, and after we had a sharing, and everybody should tell their experience. And then I was the lost. I couldn't talk because I was just crying. I was broke. I said, I saw nothing, and everybody saw everything. So I completely was disappointed why they didn't show me anything. I was working so hard for it, and I saw nothing, really nothing. So, and my beautiful teacher Elke came to me and said, like, do you know what? It was also happened to me for a really long time, because maybe you're not ready to see all, because we cannot decide. If we start to see and feel, we cannot decide what we are seeing. And maybe you're not ready to see all of this, because there are polarity. There are both sides. There's not just good. She told me this, and this, it helps me so much. After I was like, okay, I'm fine. I will see and feel whenever it comes. And this is exactly how it happened now. So I just know it. And I even cannot tell you why. It's just, I would say, it's guided, it's channeled. So I see people, and sometimes I just want to say something, and then I realize, okay, this is not me. It's not from me. So I just tell them what comes. So I just channel it through them and tell them what comes. And of course, I have a lot of spiritual guides, which I invite and with which I work on. But yeah, it's, to be honest, it's never happening like this. So it just comes if it should come, and I also don't push this. So when I started with some energy work, I just intuitively know where something was happening, or I sometimes just know where I have to touch someone. Or, but what is quite important for me to share with all this work is, like, there's never someone in the outside who's doing this. So for example, the word healing, for me, I have a really, you know this, I have a residence with this. So if everybody calls me like a healer, I'm not. And it's really because it's, I highly believe that the people have the healer in their self. And of course there are blocks and restrictions. And of course I have tools to work with them on it, to release it, to heal their self, so that they have to do the work. I can do nothing if someone give me not the permission to help them. I cannot. So yeah, what my human design here learned me now is really like waiting for invitation. And it helps me a lot. Before I try to give the people everything on the silver plate, and it was not all the time welcome, because I saw it already. I see it. Yeah, I see a lot of things before, and I feel a lot of things before. But I think this gift, now I can call it gift, before I couldn't, is not every time and everywhere welcome. And yeah, I learned really to wait for invitation. I put out my offer, and if people want to know, they ask me, and then they are happy to hear it. So I think the Akashic Records, Soul Realignment, what I study now, I really love it. And I think this will give me a beautiful frame of reference for people to help them in each parts of their life. I really love it. It helps me a lot. Kim, you know her. I really like her. So we met Kim also in Cambodia. She's for me such a beautiful soul. She's really aligned with everything what she's doing, saying. So she's one of these light workers, what I can also really recommend. So she helped me a lot with soul realignment, and she bring me to this part that I want to study it. And yeah, I hope to share soon also this magic. But I think they're not just readings, they're also body movement. I think it's a lot of working together. And in this part of movement, you were a big part in my journey, because you break a lot of restrictions there, where I really felt like I was getting so mad sometimes in your practice, and there were so much more than yoga. And I think people sometimes really maybe you even don't know what you are doing in these classes, but for me it was just life changing. I was sometimes like, am I able to say? But after, it was all the time such a big relief. And I think there are so many tools they are working together. So it's sometimes we need really the physical work. Sometimes we just need it on, on the other 10 bodies, on our emotional body. There's a lot of work to do. We know this. And I think it's time that people also start to notice that there's other systems where we have to work if we want to change something in our physical life. So yeah, I'm highly grateful also for your classes. I really miss it, and I hope our ways will in person cross again, that I can visit your classes again.
Oh, thank you so much, Jessie. I think it's really important for people to recognize exactly what you just said, that there's all of these different elements of ourselves. So I work a lot with this in holistic coaching, that we have our emotional body, we have our physical body, we have our spiritual body, and we have our mental body. And they very much directly correlate to the koshas in yoga, which are the food body, the mind, the breath body, and this psychic spiritual center, where we're in touch with this energy that's it's an intuition or a sixth sense, a psychic awareness that connects us to our inner bliss, our bliss body, our Anandamaya kosha. And I know you've done a lot of work with yoga, and now with Kundalini, as well as with Reiki and the Akashic Records. And it's just really beautiful to hear how you have integrated them in your own life, and that all of these different modalities have given you so much of an insight into the vast being that you are, not just what you were doing necessarily in your life, that it's a whole world of being and existing in your energy, and exploring that further, and that you've taken all of these different pathways to still be discovering even more, and now to be sharing these gifts, which I think is the most beautiful part of all of it, that you are now taking everything that has made you so, look at you, you're radiant, you're an absolute goddess, and the beauty mostly for me comes from within, from you knowing yourself. And so many people that I talk to that have experienced a spiritual awakening have recognized it. A lot of them actually say the same that you did, that I always knew there was something more. I always felt like there was something different with me as compared to everyone that was around me. I always kind of felt like, wait a minute, this is like, something's not right. And
separated.
Yeah. And you seem to have just always followed that intuition and developed it further to kind of figure out how it could work for you, how it could make your life actually work, so that you could feel connected and attached to your life. And I just want to highlight that.
Yeah, but I think you can agree. Yeah,
Mhm.
I can agree like that afterwards, because you had the same afterwards for everybody, it seems so easy because now we are sitting in here and can talk about like this, and we are really radiating from inside. So okay, yes, but the steps out were not easy, and there were not parts. And I think it's so important for people to know that they should not stay in this victim position. They should all the time know that there are tools outside which that's totally fine to feel stalked. That's totally fine to feel different, but actually there is no separation. So there is nothing what you could not achieve, what I have or what someone else have. And I think this is, for me, the important part of the whole journey that you did. A lot of our friends did, they are stepped out. So it's really, and I told you, we had a call a couple of days or last week before. Just now, I realized how long I was ending up in a victim position, even if I thought I'm not. And when you asked me for this call and to talk about my story, it was, I want to make this clear now again, like it was really like, I don't want to talk what was happening.
Yeah.
In this victim position, to go into this field of suffer, because in this moment, I know already, in this moment, I connect again. Why? I am not a victim. I'm a winner. I am here. I am living my best life. And there's nothing. And I really think it is so important to tell these people, of course, you have to do your work, and everybody, and nobody will do it for you. Of course not. But whenever the point is there, just make a big done under it and just honor, accept in so much love everything what was happening you to move, because this makes you move. But yeah, it, I think we're, of course, we're traveling to the golden age, so there's no reason to carry again the suffer and the suffer and the suffer. And a beautiful phrase from my Kundalini teacher Kiara, you know, she's a really big teacher for me. It's like she said all the time to us, and I love it. She said, like, make yourself radiating from the inside, then you will be a magnet for everybody who wants the same. And I love it so much. She taught us this in our teacher training. She said, clear up your shit, do your own things, do your work. Nobody will do this for you, but then you will be beautiful, what you said, from inside. So you will attract exactly the people they think, what is she doing? I want to do the same.
Yeah.
So of course I want to go there. So I really love this, and it helps me. Oh my God, it helps me when my clock is going at 4 a.m., 4:44, and I think like, what the hell, I don't want to do. Then I remember why I do this work and why I show up for myself. If I don't show up for myself, nobody's doing it. So if we don't tune in on before we start the day and share to someone, you know, like it's tune it first with yourself and then share, and then it's good. And then you, who should shake you if you are in your balance? Nobody can. There's nothing what could. So yeah, I think this is a beautiful thing to end this call, so that really everybody knows, you know, like we have to show up for ourselves. We do the work, nobody else is doing. But also don't get too attached to the victim position. Even everybody is caring about this. Yeah, it is. So everybody is just listening for, oh my God, what was happening? So that's normal. But yeah, there's a road outside of this, and this is much more beautiful. So yeah.
It's so true. And one of the things that you always were what's so wonderful at reminding me of is every time I had a trauma or a trigger for a trauma
shows up again. Yeah.
You always reminded me that to love it, to love the person, to love the trigger, to send it love. And I think it's really important, specifically coming from you, that this is like this was always your message that really resonated with me, that whenever you when you think of someone that hurt you, or like you're saying, you get stuck in these victim positions, this victim mentality, to love it. And
yes.
to,
And everybody who did it, and everybody who did it, and also what we did. This is the trickiest point. But I did it with everybody who's harming me, not joking. And not just once. Ho'oponopono, I told you 1 million times. With some people, I have to do it 1 million times. And when again, I feel something in my heart, which is saying like, I go back, I do it again, and I do it again, and I do it again. And forgiveness work, you know. So this is a really, really big key for ourselves and everybody else, right? Yeah, it's just healing all this blobs that are coming. So just catch them when a new one comes and say, oh, wow, I haven't forget you. Okay, let's do it again. And don't take it too serious. I think this is important, and we don't take it too serious.
Yeah, the lightheartedness of it. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's so beautiful. Well, Jessie, I am absolutely honored to have been able to chat with you today, to hear your take on your awakening journey. Would you mind telling people how they can reach out to you and what types of work that they can?
Of course, you can just add my Instagram account. I think it's the easiest way. Everybody who's feeling called can contact me and I will answer, of course. So yeah, I'm not a big fan from making news about myself, because I highly believe in the law of attraction. So who is supposed to work with me will be there, and yeah, of course, they can contact me in Instagram, and then we can see what we can do. I think this is the
thank you. As humble as ever, the beautiful, radiant Akashic Records reader, Reiki healer, even though I know you're opposed to the word healer. I also agree with you that we are all our own healers. We are all our own gurus, and that no one outside of us can really give us what we need, although we have guides, we have spirit guides, we have other beings like one another. Yeah. We are all our own teachers. We are all.
We need it.
Yeah.
We need guides, of course. This is the important part for me whenever I'm lost, if it's reaching out to you or to someone else of my guides. And this is why I would love to be a guide for someone else. Of course, I love this, to give people impulse and show them some doors, but they have to go. So that's it. But I think this is the clarity that people really need, that they have to do their things. Thank you so much for getting me welcome. It was beautiful.
And just so everyone knows, because of Jessie's inspiration, I'm also doing a 40 days of 5 minutes of forgiveness, the Ho'oponopono prayer in Kirtan. So you can also join me on Facebook or Instagram, and right here on YouTube, where I'll be posting those. There's also your Embodied Divinity teacher training that I'm running, 32 hours of tapping into your intuitive nature, your using your guides and your intuition, and the beautiful practices of yoga to help you connect more fully to who you really are, your radiant expression of love. For we are all love, we are all one. I love it. I love you. Thank you so much for being here. I'll see you soon.
See you soon. Satnam.
Satnam. Bye, babe.